OYTPC, Joshua Stewart, Pipe Up North. I got looking at the calendar, and I just realized I've been smoking a pipe for a year. Now, I don't remember the exact day. I've got a receipt around here someplace from the tobacco place that I drive by pretty regularly that has my receipt for a pouch of half and half, a pouch of Captain Black Gold, and some pipe cleaners and a pipe. And when I started, I wasn't sure if this was something that I would want to do or not. I said I'll try it for a month. I was getting a few weeks into it, and I still wasn't sure. My tongue was burned all the time. I just wasn't getting out of the tobacco what I was hoping to. But somewhere along there, I was able to start getting some enjoyment. And I said, well, I'll give it 3 months, see how it goes. And I'll give it till the end of the year. Well, now here I am, a year into it, and I think I'll stick with it. I was thinking about, after I've been in this a year now, if I could summarize some of the things that I've learned that might help out the guys and gals that are just picking it up. I actually made a couple of notes that were sitting on the table here, and Mittens hopped up in my lap and hopped down and knocked down my notes. Which I don't usually use notes when I make videos, but there's a few points on there that were probably somewhat important. Oh, yeah, he's not going to jump up here now. So, thinking about it, suggestions for new pipe smokers. Well, maybe I'll just start out with some of the mistakes I've made. Probably the first mistake I made was maybe trying to dive too deep into the aromatics right away. And I put in several orders with some of the various online companies. Buying an ounce here, an ounce there, a pouch here, a tin there of some of the various aromatics. And I'm a person who doesn't like to just do what the crowd does. I'm always just a little bit off that way. Which is probably why I'm smoking a pipe. But for newbies with pipe smoking, I would suggest to start out with some of the popular proven stuff, not to look for the hidden gems right away like I was. You'll find them in time, but when you're new, you don't really know what you like. I mean, I would say it takes several months to kind of actually figure out what you like. Now, that's not to say that a newbie should avoid aromatics completely. But I was trying some of these oddball, weird flavors of aromatics. I can't even think of them offhand because I haven't reached for them in so long. But I guess I'll just say some aromatics that I would recommend. Molto Dolce. It's a very popular one. Like I kind of implied earlier, with tobacco, it's probably when you're starting out, stick with the stuff that's popular. And there's a reason it's popular, is because it's usually pretty good. Maybe another one would be Cult Blood Red Moon. No, any of these, like everybody always says, your mileage may vary. But those are some that I found that were good as a new pipe smoker. I'll maybe add, I believe it's Sutliff makes it, I'm not sure, but the vanilla custard. That's one of them that I tried early on where I decided I like pipe smoking with that one. Some of the popular codger blends are a good place to start. I'm almost finding myself to be a tobacco snob, but I'm a codger at heart, I guess. But because some of these Sam Gowath and Hogarth Rattrays, I'm finding that I like some of them. Three Nuns, I mean, they're not always available, not always cheap, but they are good. But a newbie might not appreciate them as much as someone who's got at least a few months of experience. Tonight, got my trusty old, one of several of my Legend, Missouri Meerschaum Legend cobs, and in it, where did I put the pouch? No, I didn't put it away. I never put stuff away. That's one of them that got knocked down on mittens. Was anyway, Captain Black Dark. I've actually found that many of the Captain Blacks are pretty agreeable. Now I know there's lots of guys that don't like them too, but for one of the codger blends, they're, as far as the whole lineup, they're pretty good. I would personally recommend them before the Borkum Riff. I've not been overly impressed with much in the Borkum Riff line. But there again, they're kind of popular, and they must be popular for a reason. I'm having trouble keeping my Captain Black lit tonight. What else? Oh, 1Q. Definitely recommended for a new pipe smoker. That's just a kind of a good all-around general purpose blend. And I guess I would probably encourage, maybe not encourage is the right word, but be willing to try any of the popular codger type blends. Go back to a few things to avoid. This one, no, especially for a newbie. I mean, I tried it again here a week or two ago for the second time. I bought it probably a month or two into my pipe smoking journey. Didn't really get anything out of it. It was not a pleasant smoke. So those kind of, at least that Arrow and Gobra, I mean, maybe as people get more experience, like say I got more out of it when I tried it a week or two ago than I did the first time, but there's so many other things that are so much better. Um, get yourself a good reputable English to try to see if you like the English or the Latakia type blends. For me, I'm not huge on the Latakia. I've got several tins around of various English blends. But I probably just haven't developed a taste for it yet. But I don't hate them. Mittens is eyeing like he's looking and getting in trouble. Oh, here he comes. What's he going to knock over this time? Yeah, let's see, what else? Pipes. Let's talk about pipes for a minute. Get yourself a couple of these Missouri Meerschaum Legend. I think I've gotten most of these for like that $7-8 range. And they smoke pretty good. They take the 6mm filter. I just use the Dr. Grabo paper filters in them. Not that they necessarily actually filter all that much, but they do help reduce some of the moisture. But these are good because they're cheap and they actually smoke pretty well. Now, I know Truck and Piper Bob, if you're watching this, you'll say they're nothing but compost, which eventually, yes, they will be. They don't last forever. But in my opinion, for starting out, they're hard to beat. Now I've got a Missouri Meerschaum Country Gentleman here too. That's definitely my favorite cob. That one I just want a relatively quick smoke. I'll go for these Legends. And remember a few months ago I was talking with my dad, who smoked a pipe back in the 70s and 80s. And well, he was a guy that would have one pipe in his pocket. and smoke it all day and pretty much always have something in it. So he'd probably smoke 10 bowls through it maybe in a day. I don't know. Maybe 5 bowls. I don't know. But as a kid, I remember he almost always had a pipe hanging out of his mouth. And he'd commented that, yeah, once they get smoking really good, then they burn out. Which I guess I haven't smoked any of mine long enough to get them to burn out. But that may be a thing. And depending on budget, I mean, briars are definitely great pipes too. Some of them. But you don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a pipe either. You can get pretty good pipes, brand new, briar, in that $50 range. Now, I don't have enough experience with them that I can give you much for recommendations, but there's plenty of people out there that can. For me, I've been buying mostly estate pipes on eBay. Get them here and spend probably spend an hour or two per pipe. It's just kind of relaxing work for me to clean and refurbish a pipe. And with some of them, if you get the reputable brands, usually, not always, you can have yourself a pretty decent pipe for a lot of times under 20 bucks if you're willing to put in a little bit of time to clean it up. Then maybe before I get this finished up, maybe give a warning. The pipe smoking is addictive. Now for me, it's not the nicotine that's addictive. So what some of the guys in the YTPC refer to as TAD and PAD, which I think I've become infected. With myself, probably the TAD more than the PAD, but a little bit of both. If you haven't heard of that before, TAD is tobacco acquisition disorder. Now, in this year that I've been on this journey, I quit counting a while ago, but I know I've got over 100 different blends in my cellar right now. I don't need 100 different blends. In fact, I've probably got closer to 150, but you don't need 150, you don't need 100, you don't need 50. But I guess for me, that was part of the journey, is going wide, trying a whole bunch of different stuff, and you can kind of narrow it up to what you like. So that's, I guess, where I'm at in the journey, is I've went wide, trying to find what I like. Now I've kind of found a little bit what I'm like, trying to narrow it up and get down to maybe a dozen or two blends that'll kind of be the go-tos. And pipe acquisition disorder, PAD. That's pretty self-explanatory too. Which I'm keeping that under control a little better. But even with that, I've probably acquired 20 to 30 pipes. Now, granted, most of them are estate pipes that you buy in a lot of, 3 of them or 5 of them for, ends up being just a few bucks a piece. So I'm not going broke with that, but then I've got probably 10 of my briars that I've bought that are refurbished and smokable, and then probably another 15 in the drawer waiting to be refurbished. Which I don't need that many pipes either. So I'll probably be narrowing down my pipe collection here in a little bit. I found for me, as far as briars in the estate end of things, I'm kind of focusing on the K Woodies. Some people like the Gray Bows, or Paladin. He likes his Medicos, which I don't know if I've ever smoked a Medico. I think I've got 2 of them in the to be refurbished drawer, but in fact, one of them's a Gold Crest. I should get that one fixed up pretty soon and try it out, see how it is. But for me, that's where the addiction is in the PAD and TAD. And I think I'm starting to recognize that, so then I can help myself to overcome it, right? So anyway, we're running a little long here again. I was gonna, any of you that have watched me, I like to try to keep them under 10 minutes, but for the video length, but I rarely do. This is gonna be way too long, but that's okay. You watched at double speed, right? So, if I realize I forgot anything, I'll probably do a follow-up here in the next couple of days too on this. And any new guys, feel free to ask questions. To me, say I'm being the newness is still kind of fresh in my mind of what I've been learning. Otherwise, the YTPC is an awesome community. Anybody would, any of the presenters, I'm sure, would be glad to answer your questions too. So, yeah. Say, being I lost my notes, I'm trying to think if there's any other important stuff. I'm sure there was, but I say if I remember it, I'll update. So anyway, Joshua Stewart, Pipe Up North. Have a good day.